Imagine discovering an island covered with hundreds of giant stone faces. They stand silently across the land, all looking in the same direction. No one knows exactly why they were built, or even more strangely, no one fully understands how they were moved. This is the story of Easter Island. First, let's start with some vocabulary, some words we don't know. What is remote? You may know about the remote control for a TV. Remote means far away. If you sit far away and you control the TV, you have a remote control. A statue is a large sculpture of a person or object. A quarry is a place where stone is taken from the ground. A massive, massive is an adjective. It is means very large and heavy. Inhabitant is a person who lives in a place. If you live in a house, you are the house's inhabitant. Volcanic is related to volcanoes. If a rock comes from a volcano, it is volcanic rock. Ancestor is a family member from the past. Your great great grandparents are your ancestors. Resource is something useful like food, water, or wood. To become successful in life, you will need a lot of resources. Decline is to become smaller or weaker. Restore, to bring something back to its original condition. All right, now it's time to listen to the story of the Easter Island statues. So let's go ahead and put our listening ears on and listen to this easy English story. Easter Island is one of the most remote places on Earth. It is located in the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away from the nearest continent. When European explorers arrived there in 1722, they discovered something incredible. Across the island stood hundreds of massive stones known as Moai. Some of these stones are over 30 feet tall and weigh more than 80 tons. They were carved by the island's early inhabitants, the Rapa Nui people, using volcanic rock. Most of the statues were created in a quarry on one side of the island. However, many of them were later found miles away from that location, which creates one of the biggest mysteries surrounding Easter Island. How did ancient people move such enormous statues without modern tools or machines? One theory suggests that these statues were dragged across the ground using ropes and wooden sleds. Another theory proposes that logs were placed underneath and the statues could be rolled forward. However, one of the most fascinating ideas is that the statues were walked. According to this theory, workers used ropes to carefully rock the statues from side to side, slowly moving them forward in a walking motion. Modern experiments have shown that this method might actually work, even though it sounds almost impossible. Another major question is why the statues were built in the first place. Many historians believe the Moai represented important ancestors. They may have symbolized power, protection, or leadership within the community. Interestingly, most of the statues face inland toward the villages rather than towards the ocean, which suggests that they were meant to watch over the people. The story of Easter Island is not only about mystery, but also about change and survival. Over time, the island's population began to decline. Natural resources such as trees became limited, possibly because too many were cut down. Without trees, it became harder to build tools, transport materials, and support daily life. Some experts believe this led to conflict among the people and caused major social problems. As a result, many of the statues were knocked down and the society changed dramatically. Today, many of the Moai have been restored and stand once again across the island. They remain one of the most powerful symbols of ancient human creativity and effort. However, many questions still remain unanswered. How were the statues truly moved across the island? Why were so many built? And what can we learn from this rise and fall of civilization? Easter Island continues to fascinate people around the world, not only because of its mystery, but also because of the lessons it may hold about human ambition, resource use, and survival. All right, comprehension check. Let's find out how much of the story did you understand. If you get all of these questions right, then you know English very well. If you miss a few, then go back and listen to the story again and see if you can find out what the answer is. Where is Easter Island located? Easter Island is located in the Pacific Ocean, far from other continents. What are the statues called? The statues are called Moai. What material were the statues made of? The material that was used to make the statues was volcanic rock. What is one theory about how the statues were moved? One theory is that they were dragged, maybe they were rolled, or walked using ropes. Why do many statues face inland? The statues face inland probably to watch over or protect the people. So, what do you think? Why do you think the statues were built? Do you think they were symbols of power or protection or something else? Write your idea in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe for more English stories.